This is a little recap on the area formulas for some regular shapes. So first off, if you have a square, rectangle, or parallelogram, the formula is area equals base, so this is the base, times the height, and the height is always perpendicular, so you can have like a little, like it's a 90-degree angle. And you can see, for example, in this one here, we have 4, so the base equals 4 units, and the height is 1, 2, 3 units. So 4 times 3 gives us 12, and it's units times units, so we get units squared. And if you count them, you could actually count that there are 4 3 times, so 4 times 3 is 12 units squared. So look how the work is set up. You see how it's nice where all of the equal signs are lined up. I start with writing a formula, I show my substitution, I show my answers, and then I show appropriate units. And you can see there are 12 squares, so your units are always going to be squared when it comes to area. Now, there's also this type of parallelogram, so I'm going to kind of show this here. And it's still the same formula. It's going to be base, which is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and height, okay, this is the vertical height, not the slanted height. The height is 3 units, and what we can actually do is I could actually cut this at a 90-degree angle, and then I could slide it over there. And if you see, it actually rebuilds my original rectangle. So that's why the same formula for rectangles as well as parallelograms that look like this have the same formula. Okay? So now we're going to look at areas of a triangle. So I'm going to start here with my parallelogram, and with my rectangle, which is a parallelogram. We said that this is area equals base times height, and in order to get, just a simple rectangle, a simple triangle, I could basically cut here, and if I cut there, I'm basically taking my shape and I'm dividing it in 2. Okay, so I've divided it into 2. So I only want, so dividing it by 2, or the other way that people write it is it's the base times the height, and I just want half of it. Okay, and you would set your work up exactly the same way before. So let's just do that really kind of quickly. So the base is 4 units. The height, and once again, it's always going to be perpendicular. So the height is 3 units. So I get, and once again, I'm lining up my equal signs nice and vertical. So 4 times 3 divided by 2. 4 times 3 is 12 divided by 2, which is 6. And units times units gives me units squared. So I could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then these other little pieces add up to my 6th square. Okay, so there it is for triangles. Now let's kind of go to the last one that we've been studying, which is the trapezoid. So the trapezoid formula is kind of wonky. It's base 1, and this is a little subscript, sub means below, plus base 2 times height divided by 2. So I'm going to put a trapezoid here, okay, and so we're going to label the part. So base 1, and the bases are the things that are parallel to each other. So this bottom and this top are parallel. Could have been oriented like that as well, but it's the two sides that are parallel are going to be your base 1 and base 2. So I have a base 1, and that's equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. My other base, my base 2, is just 1 unit. My height is always going to be perpendicular. That means 90 degrees to the base. Okay, so wish I'd use a different color, but here's my height, and my height is 2. So how do they get this formula? Okay, so this formula comes from, if I were to take a trapezoid and the exact same trapezoid, so here's the exact same trapezoid, and I flipped it around, I actually get a parallelogram. And in order, we know that the formula for a parallelogram is base times height. What is this base here? It's the base 1 plus the base 2 times the height. Okay? But I don't want both of the trapezoids. I don't want both of these trapezoids. I just want one of them, so I'm going to divide it by 2. So that's how you get your formula. Now let's go back to this one in terms of how do we actually use this information to solve. So once again, you can see that I have my formula for a trapezoid, and then I'm going to substitute in my values. So I have 4 for the base 1 plus 1, the height is 2, divide by 2. So I do parentheses first. 4 plus 1 is 5 times 2 divided by 2. And then when you have just multiplication and addition, you go, just multiplication, you go from, and division left to right. 5 times 2 is 10 divided by 2, or 5. And when we're multiplying units times units, we're going to get units squared. And so once again, you can also see, if I were to count up the actual squares, I would get 5 squares, okay, or 5 squared units. So once again, setting up your work, always writing the formula, showing the substitution, keeping nice, equal signs all lined up so people can easily see how did you go from here to here to here to here, and then to your final answer. Hope that's helpful.